So a lot of you guys have been asking me where I see the explosive growth potential in DeFi really is. And I can't really think of anything more but to talk about TrustSwap because even from the start, they have been one of the fastest growing and fastest moving teams out there. Just look at their performance over the past year. So this is starting in October of 2020. It started off roughly around 20 cents. Now plus TrustSwap is over $4.41. That's an insane growth. It's almost over 2,000%, a good 20x. So that means the team has been growing, but honestly, that's not the full story. There's a lot of new features coming on board that's going to drastically change how both the platform operates and how much value it's being kept in the platform. These figures would just blow your mind because they're not in the millions, but they're actually in the billions of dollars of assets under TrustSwap ecosystem and more of it's to come. So today what we're going to do in this episode is to kind of just take a look at TrustSwap in general, what they are doing. But more specifically, we're all going to target some of the features that are coming towards the end of this month that will kind of elevate it to the next level. Now, as you guys know, for full disclosure, I am an advisor to TrustSwap. And beyond that also, I'm a big investor. I hold a lot of swap tokens as well. You guys probably know it's one of my medium bags. I did a video on this earlier. But one of the big reasons is because they're doing so much so quickly. So without further ado, let's get started to find out what TrustSwap is. So this video, we're going to cover two things. One of which is what is TrustSwap? It's a relatively large ecosystem, so it's worth covering a few key portions. And then we're going to get straight to the juicy stuff, which is the features that are coming very soon, why they're very important, and more importantly, why they can bring billions of dollars worth of value. DeFi isn't just something that's arbitrary out there, but there's concrete examples of this working and also of it creating value. So anyways, we'll talk about that in the second half of the video. So what exactly is TrustSwap? So, I mean, obviously on the website, it says it's a full service digital asset ecosystem. All right, okay, what does that even mean? Well, from the big picture, from the way I understand this, is that with decentralized finance, right, with everything being on a blockchain, being run by code, you need to have trust in this ecosystem. The code is going to execute the way it executes, right? Sounds simple enough, but in the traditional world, obviously there's lawyers who do this, there's regulators who come about. But currently in decentralized finance, for better or for worse, everything is governed by code. So one of the first uses of TrustSwap was actually with escrow. So this is something that is super easy to do on a blockchain. So say, for example, you and me, we have a agreement. I'll trade you some tokens for some Ethereum or whatnot. Well, normally if, you have to figure out who sends first and who has more trust, etc. But with a TrustSwap contract, smart contract, it allows this escrow to function pretty easily. But very quickly, what the team realized is that a lot of aspects of decentralized finance needed trust. So one of the first things that got a lot of traction for TrustSwap is the Launchpad. So you guys see me talking about this endlessly. There are a lot of projects that are launched on this, and this was super successful. So how does it work? Well, people who hold swap, so swap token holders, they stake it, and they get to participate in new projects that are launching. And they can trust that they're going to get the tokens, right? So this is where the TrustSwap part comes in, where once it launches, people who are TrustSwap stakers get to know that they're going to get the tokens and get to contribute to the project. And a lot of these projects did super well. So for example, Yield did 800%. We got MoDeFi did 2,000. These are insane and really awesome launches on TrustSwap. Now coming up, so something that I do want to show you guys is that there is a calendar for launches as well. So a lot of people just see the Launchpad, which is something I did initially, but there's also a calendar of something that is going to come up, and this is on the calendar section of TrustSwap. For TrustSwap token holders, what they have to do is they have to have a time-weighted average. So people who have and are part of the community for longer, they get more allocation in the project. That's how the Launchpad works. So this is one of the first hottest features on TrustSwap. But there's a lot that's being done in the background that's even more impressive, but a lot of people don't even know about. And this has to do with both smart mint and smart locks, right? This is where the billion-dollar opportunity comes in. So how does this work? Now, how does this all work? Well, right now you can go to team.finance and check out what's already happening. This is already being live. And in fact, as a matter of fact, there's already 1.4 million total locked value, token value here. And what's more, there's also $75 million of locked liquidity value too. These numbers are super important because they tell us that people are trusting this platform, and also they're just putting even their finances at stake here. So what exactly is smart locks? Well, this really has to do with the way a lot of these token projects work. Because people, anyone, right now in crypto can create their own token, sell their own token. That's just how the code works. Anyone can do it. The problem arises when people are dishonest, right? Some people who are dishonest, they tend to create a lot of tokens magically out of thin air and then just dump it on the market, sell it on the market. This would be highly illegal in a regulated space. But a lot of times with these communities that start up, because early on there's not regulation in this space, well, we have to trust code to do it, which is exactly the solution that TrustSwap is providing. So with team.finance, what they're doing with the smart locks here is that they're providing a guarantee by code that the founders will do exactly what they say. And there's no way that a founder can just like create more tokens out of thin air because it's already specified in the system. So you can actually view very closely, you can actually examine their contracts and figure out what parameters they can have and when, of course, particular tokens are unlocked. So take, for example, MoDeFi, the MOD coin. So if you browse on team.finance, you can see that 3.5 million MOD is locked by the platform, and that the expiry for this, there's a countdown for the expiry, which is 125 days. So you can have a guarantee that the founders cannot kind of magically move this 3.5 million mod, dump it on the market, cash out, and rug pull on this project. So this is what kind of easy utility it brings. It brings a lot more transparency into the space because everyone can see what are the locked tokens. We can verify by code that this is true. You can see the transaction number that this is done. So there is just no way that the founders can do anything shady that's going on. So that's one of the first features of the smart lock system. It's really great for projects to be more transparent and to give trust to their community. Next up, we have liquidity locks. And this is a huge thing that the community really wanted and really needed. So what's happening with a lot of projects is that projects can allocate liquidity to a trading pair. And this gives people a lot of opportunity to both enter and exit their coins, right? So they can trade very easily. And one of the biggest fears, biggest rug pull fears, is that if the liquidity is removed, all of a sudden investors are left with their coins and then have no idea where to cash or sell them out because there's no longer an available market. So what a liquidity does is it guarantees that there is a certain set amount of the liquidity that's locked in this market, right? And that there's a commitment that this amount of liquidity will be there. So let's say, for example, even this TrustSwap token itself. So what's going to happen is that you can see on the platform over here that there is 57% liquidity of it being locked right now on the platform. And the locked value of this is equivalent to $9 million. That's a huge amount of money being locked or dedicated to liquidity. There's also a kind of a countdown on the lock. So there's a transparency to see when the lock expires and when it renews, right? So this gives a lot more transparency for projects to know what is going on, how much liquidity there is, and whether or not to kind of either continue on or even add more liquidity to their locks. So both TrustSwap and Launchpad are the two kind of core features that elevated TrustSwap's entire ecosystem to make it more valuable and explains some of the growth that we're seeing. And now to the exciting stuff, right? This is the stuff that's going to bring billions of dollars of value onto the platform. And this feature is launching at the end of this month, and it is called Smart Launch, and it's featuring something called Mint. So what exactly is this? Now, simply said, Smart Launch is going to allow any project to launch their own coin for free on multiple blockchains. You see, this is the biggest trend right now. Right now, people want to support multi-blockchain. People want to launch their projects. They want to offer that transparency that TrustSwap provides. They want the public to know that their team tokens are locked. All of these features are going to be available for free to anyone using Smart Launch. So this is really capturing the current trend in a bottle. It's having all the features that any project really wants and putting it all in one easy click, easy to use platform to launch their coins. So absolutely, this means that the team can't dump their tokens because they can specify their lock. The liquidity can't be pulled because they can be locked into the liquidity and it's going to be very transparently displayed on team.finance. They're going to be able to issue more tokens too if that's an availability, and you can see that on the platform. Plus, they have a full audit as well. So this is included, right? These contracts are already been audited before. So new projects and people, new creators don't have to go through the lengthy process of getting their own audits. Now, the next part is interesting because it's both a very big advantage and I can tell you a little bit about the business model of Swap doing this. I mean, I said it for free because these founders can do it for no upfront cost. So what happens when a new coin is created? Let's get it out there. 0.1%, that's going to go to the growth of Trust Incorporated. So that's going to be for the platform. Now, 0.4 of this goes straight into marketing, right? So the majority of this that's taken goes straight to TrustSwap token holders in the form of new mining pools. So this is something that's a lot of projects are looking for as well. They're looking to grow the community. They're looking to share that. So they get to share it first with the TrustSwap community, right? So this is where there's mining pools that are automatically going to be generated, and TrustSwap token holders, they can stake their swap to get that 0.4% of the total supply of that coin. So is there a cost? Yes, there is. So 0.5% of the token, that could be considered as a cost for creating and launching with the Smart Launch. But in return, there's marketing and there's security and there's transparency. That's kind of what the platform offers. So why I say this has value is because the TrustSwap smart locks already have $1.4 billion of projects locking up their tokens and locking up their liquidity. So this is a huge opportunity coming in. A lot of projects are going to be able to very easily, transparently launch their token, lock their tokens up, prove to be transparent, and then of course, build the communities as well. This is the huge kind of one-stop value add for everything coming in. And of course, this benefits both the TrustSwap holders because of the 0.4% that goes towards farming. So you're going to have a lot more pools being created. And then of course, it benefits the projects because they have a community. If you want to read a little bit more about how TrustSwap's Smart Launch works, there's a really good Medium article explaining that. And you can also find a lot more from Jeff's AMA as well. So Jeff Kerdakis, the CEO of TrustSwap, has been extremely open about what he is doing with TrustSwap, and you can check it out on YouTube. They've been featuring a lot of AMAs and a lot of transparency in this space. So that's a pretty good video I can recommend. I'll put that down in the links down below. So that's a quick summary of TrustSwap and something that's happening very soon that I'm super excited for. There's definitely a lot more. I think this is probably one of the telltale signs about the TrustSwap token team. Like it wasn't just one product that was out there. It's a combination of products. And just looking at the big picture in whole, honestly, I feel like that's where the kind of the name comes in, right? You need to provide trust in this ecosystem. And they've been building up a lot of features that do offer that full transparency and trust to space. And of course, there's a lot of profits on the side for that as well. So there's a lot more going on. I definitely highly encourage you to check out their AMAs and to stay tuned. I definitely feel there is a little bit of a hint at a big acquisition by TrustSwap coming very soon. And that's going to bring a lot more users into the space as well. So I hope you can keep in tune for that. I'd love to hear what you guys think about TrustSwap as well. So it's been going on for some time. It's one of my very happy medium bags that I've been holding for quite some time. And I hope you guys are enjoying this ride as well. So leave a comment down below. And if you guys like this video, make sure you smash up the likes and share this with your friends. It really does help. And of course, thank you for watching. See you next time.